Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome to the Games Industry Executive Summary. This is Casey. We are back once again, and today we have from a hiatus for a week.
He's over there. On my
Yes,
screen, he's over there at least.
somewhere here.
Yeah.
The analyst, Manu Rosier.
Yeah, it's just 1 week, okay?
This 1
I
week.
know
Yeah.
you missed me.
But it was a long week without you, man.
For me, it's 2 weeks because from one episode to the other. Was I on the episode before? I don't remember.
Ah,
I wasn't because I think that was Yom Kippur. Andre filled in, I think.
Yeah, time
I was
is a
there.
weird thing.
Yeah.
But of course, the person you just heard is the always dashing.
Always dashing here, dashing there.
Welcome on board, German. I can't even speak today. Gentlemen, welcome on board. First topic that we would like to talk about, and I think, Dave, you covered it beautifully in your article in the monthly takeaway, how live service killed Game Pass. Now, I will point out before we jump into this specifically, and maybe I should even point out, at this point, if you haven't liked, subscribed, all that stuff, please go do that right now while we're talking about this. But there are a lot of major news that have been coming out, and I'll also try and share some of the videos with the Microsoft CEO, etc. But we are I feel like we are in major changes this year, next year in the industry on so many fronts. And this is just one of them. And I love how you articulated it, Dave, in your article. I think it's somewhere maybe at the end or in the middle where you said the console wars are truly over or something like that.
Yeah, or something to that effect. Which they are.
Mm-hmm.
So, gentlemen, take it away.
So the live. I mean, I think that there's a couple things that are kind of like connected on here because we've got these giant Amazon layoffs, and we have some of this fallout with Microsoft and their Game Pass stuff and all that. And I think it's all basically the same thing, right? For a long time, people assumed that the way to make money in video games was making games, which was not an unreasonable assumption, and making new games. And then as live service became established, the business of making new games became much, much less profitable. And these systems built around it stopped working. So Game Pass is the best example, right? Like the whole idea of this was like you never had to worry about which games you were going to buy because it was all going to be on the subscription service and there's going to be good stuff and a mix and it was curated and you're going to have lots of games to play. And then most or a really large number of gamers came to a place where actually they didn't want lots of games to play. They wanted to play this one or maybe two games that they play. Mm-hmm. And so the whole idea of Game Pass was built on the idea of people wanting to play new and different games, and the gamer behavior really took a left turn from there. And then basically the same thing with Amazon, right? All these big companies for a little while wanted to get involved in games, and they did the natural thing, which was to make games. Amazon also has Luna, which is a different thing, but they wanted to make some games, and making games and releasing games in these years is just really, really good.
Sorry, gentlemen, I'm trying to look at a video to bring up, but yes.
And I think everyone's is fighting for engagement and then are surprised when people are not moving from one game to the other anymore. You cannot have both. You cannot have heavily engaged people in a few games and then expecting them to play so many different games at the same time. It's that's I think that's the bottleneck. It all comes down to the playtime available. You only have so many hours you can play. So I think they start to realize that, and that's probably why there is a finite number of hours you can play, but you can still try to milk the players by increasing the average spending per player or maybe per hour played. And I think that's the grow. The grow will not come from the more player population. It's more going to come from how you can actually shift the spending towards video game for the people that are playing video games. The other thing about Microsoft, they also Satya also mentioned that they're actually competing against TikTok. These are the real competitors. or it feels a little bit like if they keep saying that they compete against Sony, they have to acknowledge that they kind of lost this generation. So I think it's also shifting the narrative, maybe to look at a bit better. And then the other thing is that if I look at my kids, again, they are young. Video game doesn't compete with TikTok because they do the same at both at the same time somehow. So the new generation are able to look at things and play other things at the same time. So I'm not sure how much is a competition. I think you have to see that as a how can I say that can work together. Not I don't remember the word anymore, but it's like complementary experience, probably it's complementary screen experience. Let's call it like that. And yeah, and I don't know. I remember many years ago, all the Xbox conference they started with console exclusive, global exclusive, worldwide exclusive, and now they're really completely going the other way around, saying that exclusive are a thing of the past, which I think is good for the players. But there's been like change of strategy in recent years where you never know how much they will deliver on the new strategy they are highlighting. I think that the delivery is being the biggest challenge rather than actually coming with good ideas, because there have been a lot of good ideas, but then the execution has not always been there.
And what's interesting about, especially the no exclusives concept now, is like obviously that makes a lot of sense in the current industry. But the only reason they're doing it is because it's not nearly as important as it once was. So, like, it used to be that you bought an Xbox because you wanted to play Halo. And now, like, the only games that have that level of purchase are multi-platform, like Fortnite or EAFC or stuff like that. And there's just a lot of games. So, like, if someone comes out with, The Outer Worlds, like, cool game. I have not played it. Played the first one, liked it. Like, good looking, first person, immersive RPG. Like, a lot to like. But, like, if it's exclusive, like, you just play one of the other, like, thousands of great games out there. Like, it all comes back to there's just being a lot of games. And so, like, exclusives don't have the same pull they used to.
Mm-hmm. The whole concept of system sellers is kind of diluted right now. There are not many system sellers software anymore. I think that maybe some PC players might buy a console to play GTA 6, maybe. But other than that, I don't think there is. I don't even think like a Kojima game, for example, that can be exclusive to PlayStation, or God of War are system sellers anymore, because there is so many other games you can play.
Yeah.
And the other thing, if we shift more now about Amazon, so Amazon has announced, I think, 15,000 layoffs in total, including layoffs in their gaming division. And so they are stopping the development of new content for New World, which is their MMO game. That's also a signal that they might be reducing their investment in the gaming development there. And I think it also works by cycle. There's always one big GAFAM or whatever we call them right now that think that they can be successful in video games. And the reality is that it's always challenging to be successful in video game. It's a bit like a football team. It's not enough than just put together the 11 best player in the world. You need more than that. And
like I want to like go into like a meeting with these Amazon game people and talk about like Schedule One, or Ball X Pit or stuff like that. Because this is just such a good example of why this older approach is struggling so much. That like putting the money you put in the new world to make it work does not make it more successful than a one person shop with a weird idea.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
If I have to ask you guys, I did read somewhere, maybe you sent me a link. Is it correct truly that they were, in their minds, they were trying to build the competitor to Steam?
They were trying to build a competitor. I don't think Steam, but they're trying to build a competitor to Unreal. They tried to build Lumberyard.
Yeah. Also, game engine that they would then sell to or let other developers use. But yeah, there's been, in some ways, there are some great ideas also coming from Amazon. Then there was Meta and and Google, Stadia and things like that. And then ultimately they just take their losses at some point because it's not picking up. It doesn't work. It's very difficult to kind of impose your new ideas to the players. It feels like all of this happens organically. What you need to do is to give the opportunity to players to influence that rather than coming with we know better than you what you need. That's not working.
That is such a good point because for me, I feel like all of those companies that have failed, they never took this very long-term approach of we're gonna slowly build things, and also to I think one of you just mentioned it, I feel like it's well, let's just hire some old people to build stuff for young people, and
Yeah.
there's no connection. Like there's no understanding of what young people are doing today.
And AAA is long at this point. AAA is a long-term approach. There is no way to make a AAA game that is not.
Yeah, and you're only good as your last game.
Yeah.
So a lot of
You're as good as your last content update.
yeah, exactly. And we see regularly in the press like the big names that have built incredible games 10 years ago, sharing their opinion or also failing to release relevant games or successful games as of today. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like Warren Spector is a super creative dude, like a lot of his work, but like how many times do you see like an interview with him where it's like Deus Ex creator? And that's just that's the trouble of it, like
It's nostalgia somehow, because no alpha cares about whoever is thing. If maybe a Deus Ex would be interesting is if it looks a Deus Ex skin would looks interesting if
yeah, seriously.
it's nice, but other than that, there is no respect.
Interesting, Manu. Last week we were talking about Remedy and Max Payne, and I said like, okay, who even remembers Max Payne? Like, if you're doing a Max Payne game today, which I believe they are, and I'm really happy about that on a
Remaster.
personal level,
Yeah.
but you have to launch that as if it's a completely new IP, and you have
Yeah.
to approach it from like nobody knows who Max Payne is.
Yeah. I was reading on LinkedIn a post about comparing Concord and Marathon and saying that at least Marathon is based on an existing IP. I'm sorry, but it's
No, it has an existing
nobody
name,
cares.
but it is
Nobody
not.
cares
Yeah,
about this IP. For me, it's like a new IP, and apparently people are also upset because it's not doesn't follow the brand of Marathon of what Marathon was. So you're like,
well, I think
why
what's interesting about that is that like it's the word IP is not necessarily accurate, but like Bungie does still have pull, and so like while it's not an existing IP, there are a couple. There's not a lot of studios that can attract people with the name of their studio and not the name of their game, but Bungie is among them. Bungie from who else does that? Because even I'd argue like Sucker
Bethesda
Punch
used
and
to be, man.
Insomniac, like
Bethesda, yeah.
They used
yeah,
to be, yeah.
Bethesda, but yeah. But I mean, like also honestly, Bethesda tried that with Starfield and didn't really work, right? And so we don't actually have the data to know if Bethesda has that capability or not because their successful games are all Elder Scrolls and Fallout games.
Yeah. Oh yeah, for a new IP it would be very challenging. Yes, absolutely. And I think, and that's funny because I wrote about that a few days ago about Starfield and the challenge of doing an open world game in space rather than in a region, like open space. You end up in the loading screens, in the planet landing, and you can't make it's sometimes a finite zone well crafted is much better than an unlimited universe where nothing is meaningful.
Yeah. If
Yeah,
there's
I mean,
nothing
I
to
feel like
do, then
the
what's the
thing that I
point?
love about Bethesda games has always been their world building, and like they just really compromised that so badly by ensuring that they would have a broken.
Yeah, and I don't want Elden Ring in space.
Hmm.
I would agree with you. Well, I will add two things. One thing is I agree with you about I would have what's that Arnold Schwarzenegger movie where he's in space and then he meets the lady with the what?
Total Recall.
Total Recall. Thank you.
Oh, yes.
Imagine if they had built like a game in the Total Recall world, as an example, but maybe you're just on the Mars base and you're
Hmm.
just doing like you there is open world stuff
Yeah.
but it's like limited to that area,
Yeah.
and that would have been so much more interesting. That's my thought process. So I agree with you. The other one is research showed, now this I read this 15 years ago, I'm not sure if it still applies, when it comes to themes, sci-fi is down the list compared to medieval or
Yeah.
like
Heroic
fantasy.
fantasy. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, and sci-fi is compelling, but unlimited space is not. I mean, even a game like No Man's Sky, which is now praised, you still have to accept the fact that a lot of things is meaningless in this universe. You know, it's very difficult to create a whole lore across space. I think one of the game I mentioned also when I have interaction that is still amazing is Mass Effect.
Oh,
Mass Effect, they managed to create some like lore, intergalactic lore, I would say, but you need that level, you know, you need the Star Wars level. You need some of these games. I think I also people talk about, hey, what about uh what's the game, the Chris Roberts game again, the one of the
Yeah.
sorry,
yes,
can't help you. I
come
don't
Star,
know
on,
that.
the
Star
most
City.
expensive game in the universe.
Star Citizen or
Yeah, Star Citizen. I mean, from the outside, I'm not sure what's the lore, but maybe it's created by the players. You know, the players are creating the empire and
like a
things like that.
sandbox kind of
But it
situation.
doesn't feel like an RPG for sure. It feels
Yeah.
like a ship collecting and building and fighting type of game. Yeah, so you need this big universe to make it work. You need also the Expanse is gonna have a game. The Expanse, a TV show, which is also they build a very strong
And they do
lore in there.
a telltale type game with the Expanse.
Maybe it's a bit more narrative or like point and click. I will need to check. You could consider a game from Foundation also. Foundation as the law, but at the same time, Foundation is so spread out across the galaxy that you might have the opposite problem. You know, you
Yeah.
might have to focus on one part of it or one era. But there are not so many existing universe that are super compelling, and when you know the factions, the heroes, and things like that.
Well, what about the Outer Worlds? That one was fairly successful and fun.
I,
Yeah.
I've not tried the second one. I think I played and finished the first one, but I felt like I was doing chores, do this quest and that quest and that quest.
Yeah. I
I don't
had
know.
that
For me,
issue
it
in the
felt
first
like,
one, definitely. I felt like in the first one I was trying to like 100% an area and then move on to the
yeah,
next area, which
Yep,
is
yep.
always
like a
tricky.
job. Yeah, yeah, exactly.
Let's see where our Worlds 2 is. I mean, Steam. Well, our Worlds 2 has 7,211 players right now, uh, which isn't as bad as, but it also Game Pass is skewing this still. Plus, I think it's a console thing. But yeah,
By the way, gentlemen, sorry, Dave. While you're speaking, we're looking at the footage of Starfield, and now you're in space, right? And you're
that's what
just
this is.
Yeah,
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 yeah.
yeah.
so you're flying around, but I don't know, like, why did people think this would be fun? That what we're seeing on screen is just
It,
like
it,
you have an
it,
airship or a ship
it,
in
it
space,
it's
but
fun for people that like spaceship flying. It might
there's
not
nothing
be.
happening though. Well,
Yeah,
now
a
there is,
little
but
bit.
you know what I
Yeah,
mean.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah,
if you like spaceship flying, go play what is it, Elite Dangerous or something.
yeah, 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 yeah.
Yeah,
And the thing is it will be like GTA, and then you get in a plane, and then it feels like Flight Simulator. It's not really the same audience.
No, and I would argue, I mean, in GTA, there's like the world is condensed so that there's buildings, you're like there's traffic lights, there are
Mm,
pedestrians, there's like the world is a sandbox, and you're
yeah,
just walking around or like driving around and just creating chaos, right?
yeah.
But
I mean, I
here,
think it's very instructive for me, like when they got planes in San Andreas. I was like, ah, oh, awesome. There's planes. I think there was a little plane in Vice City too, but like there's lots of planes in San Andreas. Like, this is so exciting. Or I think helicopter was in Vice City because like I spent so long trying to make the plane fly in 3, then you get the planes and you're like, okay, like all you do is fly up in the air and go to a different space and go down. Like it's not that interesting.
The genre blending, sometimes it's better to stick to one type of game and do it very well rather than to try to offer something for different players. Yeah.
Here's another example, by the way, which is like, this is a planet they're on, and it's just barren. Yes, there's this office or this complex in the middle, but everything else there's no point to it, really.
Yeah, and like, what if there was something interesting over that ridge instead of on another planet? Then we would.
Yeah,
then
absolutely.
Yeah.
And I feel like now I haven't played Starfield enough to judge, but these moments in Fallout or any other Bethesda game where you're just minding your own business, you have a direction and a location you're trying to get to, and all of a sudden somebody just shows up and either just starts shooting at you or needs help, and they ask you for help, and now you're like, your attention is completely different from what you were set out to do. I just don't see that happening in what we just saw a couple minutes ago.
Difficult to create this fake randomness in space, probably. I mean, you can, but ultimately it's all about interstellar travels, and it only works when you are on a planet. But then again, you don't design 100 planet because the game has a playtime limit also.
Yeah, I mean, maybe like 2 to 3 planets. That's the most I want to see anyone try to get away with in a game like this.
And that's the approach of Mass Effect. That's why I say Mass Effect is works.
Yeah, Jedi Survivor, or whatever the second Jedi one, did that really, really well. That it was like all these different Metroidvanias.
Yeah. You have a few planets.
Or
you have some.
Yeah.
Go.
You would just like return to the same 3 or 4, I don't know how many, but 3 or 4 planets over and over again, and they would expand, and you go to new areas.
So I think what you're also saying at the same time, Dave, is that what you're effectively doing is that you're giving these planets, you're giving them character. You're giving them purpose. You're giving them connectedness in some shape or form. And if that's why you're going back and forth, and there is like, and I think to that endpoint feels like also they need to be like, visually maybe even like, close enough, or somehow you need to be able to understand like how they're located beside each other to make that connection in yourself of, okay, I need to go there because of this.
And I mean, Star Wars is the best in class when it comes to a green planet is a planet with forest, and a white yellow planet is one with sand. The I don't remember. It's not ecosystem, but something similar.
World building.
No.
Single biome planet.
The biomes are like planets. You don't have a snow on one side of the planet and then sand on the other side. It's just sand everywhere. But they do it very well. When you look at the movies, you're like, okay, we are on Tatooine. Oh, and now we are on Yavin, and you can instantly see where you are. Mm-hmm. And I think that can work in a. It's basically, instead of having a flat region with different areas, you just have 3 different planets, and you're just loading time between the planet. But that you should limit it to that. Yeah.
Dave, this actually the Fallen Order. It does remind me of that setup with the planets. It does remind me a bit of Dead Space 3. Unfortunately, not that many people got to play that game.
Yeah, I played a little bit of that. I feel like I got to one enemy that was annoying, and then I stopped playing.
Yeah, but there is that moment where you need to travel between locations, but you can clearly see them on like a screen where you can see, okay, this location is here, that location is there.
Yeah, I mean, for a funny other example, not necessarily the same kind of thing, but Outer Wilds, had you traveling between these like small things in space.
Yeah.
And like they did a good job of giving you a real sense of distance and place, even given its weird space travel thing.
What a good game.
I was gonna say, I mean, even in looking at Hello Games, right? They did, and good lord, you don't have to help me here with the name of that game again.
No Man's Sky.
No Man's Sky, but they're pivoting in their new game where they just said, okay, it's one planet, but it's like, hopefully it's dense enough, and there are things happening in that planet.
I find
Okay.
that one funny because he's trying to make
Yeah.
a planet-sized sandbox, which was the same thing that my old employer, Player Unknown Productions, is trying to do. And they are both founded by dudes from Cork, Ireland. So this is what the Corkists they want
Oh,
planet-sized
really?
sandbox. Yeah,
I did not know that Sean was Irish. Um, I do want to bring that game up though. Give me a second, because I think they are going into early access. What is it called again? It's called something.
Light No Fire.
No, 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 no. Not the Hello Games one.
Oh,
The Player Unknown one.
oh yeah, yeah,
That one is called as much as Go Way Back or Go Way Back.
yeah.
I want to actually pull some footage here. Have you had a chance to play that game?
No, I'm not going to play that.
How about you, Manu? Have you had a look at that game? It looks interesting from the perspective of you're thrown in this world, and the only tool that you have is like a compass or something like that, and there's like survival mechanics. But is it multiplayer? I'm not sure if it's multiplayer.
What is it? Sorry,
Sorry,
which game?
it's called Way Back. It's Player Unknown Productions Dutch.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. I've heard about that. I've not played it. It's more like a survival type of game, like The Forest and things like that.
Yeah,
And they're very hands off. It seems like from like no like don't go here, stupid, like type of things. They don't want to like handhold you, so to say. And they've done multiple playtests, and I think they're like coming out with an early access later this year.
Yeah. Now I've heard about it. You can play it. I downloaded it. I started, but then it felt like I prefer to play it when it's a bit more polished, rather than just being not
if
interested because it's not enough.
if it's a bit more polished.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely.
When yeah,
It felt like too complex to do basic stuff. I felt like the interface was not polished enough.
It's like traversal is also a bit and realism. They're trying to hit on realism. I feel like from what I'm seeing right now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Um, But just to go back then, and when we're talking about the Amazons and the Microsofts and like the old people making games and maybe not for a modern audience, and I feel like what I'm seeing on screen right now is a bit more fitting with the modern audience and what they're doing these days on Steam. If we're talking about games like, is it called what's this? Not the zombie game. The one where you're like also in the woods, but you're like terrible at this right now. I
Son
have to
of the
bring
Front,
come again.
Rust,
No,
Rust.
Rust. Thank you, thank you.
yeah,
I mean that is a top 10 game on Steam.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely.
yeah,
Uh, do
Because
we?
of the multiplayer mostly.
Yeah, but
yeah.
do
Rust is considered like it bears relationship to Battle Royale, right? It is functionally a survival game, but like the community is all based around like griefy multiplayer stuff, you know.
how much of that game is controlled by the developer versus the community? Because I always keep hearing about the community and the impact that they have on the game. But am I misunderstanding
I
or?
mean, it was big, definitely. I mean, private servers are obviously a thing, and you can screw around. And I'm pretty sure that there are some very popular private servers in Rust. But like, yeah, it's pretty much like developers coming out with content updates, communities going nuts with them, basically.
Mhm.
We're looking
And
at
it looks so much better
Yeah,
than it
from
did
a few
a long
years
time
ago.
ago. Yeah, just really,
The
really cool.
combat, yeah, it's much more PvP also than before. It used to be a survival game, but now it feels more like PvP faction and things like that.
Can you just give us some background? So, are you thrown into this world and you're like, you have to build like, is it like, it's almost like, is it like Minecraft but PvP?
Yeah. And that was sort of the original pitch was like a realistic looking Minecraft. So it's classic setup, thrown, you're naked, punch a tree, all that stuff. And you were doing the things that you would do in a survival game. You build a base and you get meat and cook it and stuff. But there's just a lot of PvP.
Is death permanent or like, can you recover somehow or?
Yeah, you can. I mean, I'm sure there are places where private servers where it is, but yeah, you do. You have a bed. You respawn at the bed, or if someone destroys your bed,
Mm-hmm.
on the beach again.
There's some funny videos on YouTube, like people being disrespectful, and then after that, people getting revenge. But they, yes,
I
Yeah,
see.
yeah, that's what it's all about.
A long time ago, I was trying to pitch like a Minecraft. Imagine if Minecraft could be an MMO where you just throw people into this world and they can now, hey, go wild. If you want to build cities, build cities. Like, you choose your
mm-hmm.
faction and
Yeah,
then, like, let people organically do whatever
Mm-hmm.
they want to do in this MMO.
I mean, Dune Awakening, and Conan Exiles. These are survival MMOs with a lot of base building. There's a lot of other stuff too. It's not like it's wide open as Minecraft, obviously, but that's the basic idea. Dune Awakening. I'm pretty sure my base, I lost power. It's probably gone by now. But you have that problem, right? If you want to let people build stuff, you have to manage like how long does it stay around for. If you're in Minecraft, with the voxels, a lower requirement, maybe you could, and the huge world, like a truly huge world, maybe you could just let people stack it up and just let it go nuts. But I imagine you start running into problems.
Guys, do we want to talk about something else now?
We want to look at the Steam.
Oh yeah, let's do that.
SteamDB?
Yeah.
Our favorite website, sponsor of the show. Hey, SteamDB, please sponsor us.
Yeah, I'm down.
Let's go. Yeah, absolutely. Let's do that. I think that would be exciting to do.
Click and sort by 24-hour peak.
Come on, can't you just let me have what I usually do? This is what I usually do. I don't do anything else. I just go here and that's all. I just don't click anything else.
That's
I gotta get Escape from Duck Off. I want to do Escape from
Yeah.
Duck Off. That seems cool. I really like the isometric view they got going on in that.
Please
like
explain
the-
why is this game so popular these days?
There are 2 million copies sold now. 2 million.
Yeah. So, I mean, we talked about a little bit about this the last time, but for one thing, Escape from Tarkov not available on Steam. All these other extraction shooters not coming to Steam, and then this is kind of silly, and that helps. It has this isometric view. It looks nice, and then also I do think that there is something to I'm pretty sure the main Among Us take that is not Among Us is this duck one. And I think that the kids are. This is now a recognizable genre. A duck oriented take on a game. I don't want to call this a ripoff because they've clearly put a lot of work into it. This is a full game. It's a duck oriented take on a genre, and I think that recognizability makes it easier for people to hold it.
Yeah, it's like the goose is also a popular bird in video games now. I think it's interesting. I had not even watched a video before. I can understand the appeal. Yeah.
I thought you would be all over this.
No. I'm happy to see the success. But just to complement what they've just said, Arc Raider is out. Huh? It's out since yesterday. So it's starting to pick up. It's number 7 now in the top 10. And then you also had yesterday or 2 days ago the release of the free-to-play component of Battlefield 6.
Have you had a chance to look at that as well?
No, I have no time to play these days. And I think there is a lot of noise about not about this game mode, but about the fact that the season pass is like $30, or there's like players are unhappy about the monetization scheme. Now the fact that you need to play that mode to do your battle pass. So kind of forcing the players initially to try the new game, the new version. What is not encouraging at this point is the number of players. On Battlefield 6, it's not higher than launch, while this is a fully free-to-play experience.
Yeah, interesting.
This is a fully free-to-play experience, you said?
Yeah.
Okay.
Battle Royale experience. And
I mean, I think that a lot of the people who are interested in playing Battlefield are just going to go ahead and play Battlefield. And perhaps there are not a huge number of people on that side of the Venn diagram that want to play Battlefield, but don't want to pay $70. Maybe there's not actually that many people because
Yeah.
Battlefield is an older game, it has an older fan base, more likely to have some money lying around, not as intrigued by free to play, but time limited. So I could see that being not the differentiator that you would hope it would be.
Yeah.
Do you
And
see
then
this as a Battlefield game, by the way?
What's
do
that?
you see?
Do you see what we're looking at on screen is the Battle Royale version of Battlefield 6. Do we see this as a Battlefield game at all?
It's
I'm not sure if I'm asking the right question.
I, mean, I guess it doesn't have.
it's
do have-
another experience in the environment of Battlefield, which means you have the destruction, you have this and this and that, you have the equipment, you have the weapons. It's the same question as asking, is Warzone a Call of Duty experience?
Fair enough. Yeah.
It doesn't matter ultimately, because the idea is not to convert the existing Battlefield fans into this mod. It's more to get non-Battlefield players into the Battlefield
A
ecosystem.
new audience. Got it.
Because after that, you upsell to the premium version of the game. It's the playbook of Call of Duty and Warzone. Yes.
Yeah, and I mean, I think me and Dave spoke about this last week, which was surprising that it feels like it was less about, hey, let's do something completely new and innovative, and it was more about, what did that game do? Okay, cool, let's just do that, and then we'll add some flavor on top.
Yeah, and I mean, like, it's probably not. I mean, anything like this is a big lift, right? But they've already got the tech because they did a battle royale thing before. They've already got the engine of Battlefield 6 because they have made Battlefield 6. So basically, what they got to do is build a big map, which is like a non-negligible amount of work, definitely, and they have to like design and balance and do all the stuff that you would do. But it's a lower lift than if they had not already like made Battlefield 6 and a previous battle royale mode in a same engine.
Any predictions on this? I mean, we already know. I'm not sure. Have we looked at Call of Duty at all this year? I feel like nobody's talking about Call of Duty this year.
Yeah, that's a mystery to me. What is happening with Call of Duty? Is it out?
I just feel like, no, I think it's 13th or 12th of November.
Yeah, it's going to be challenging.
Later than usual, isn't it? Isn't it usually October?
I think it's
No, it
usually
depends on the year.
Usually November? Okay. Yeah, no, I'm saying.
but it's around Black Friday, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's going to be difficult for them because the pre-order trends are really bad also for the premium game. And there are many newcomers. There is this on this extraction shooter side, there is Arc Raiders, which seems to be very good.
Is that today or tomorrow?
Yesterday.
What?
Arc Raiders, I explained that to you. I said it's already in the top 7.
Sorry, I mean, hey, I'm a producer / presenter. Like,
No, but
doing multiple jobs.
In the podcast, I mean, while we were talking,
Sorry.
I said Arc Raider was out because we talk about Escape from Dukov being the only extraction shooter, but no, it's not anymore. Yeah,
it's true.
So, but what? So, did you even talk about the performance here or no?
No, it's too early. It's too early to tell. You need to wait for the US to wake up and see where it will land. But it's a Thursday morning release, so let's discuss on that one next week and see how the weekend went.
Fair enough.
It's not free.
Yeah.
It's not free.
I mean, I think I'll probably get it. But I haven't. I'm into it. I'm into a slightly more
Battlefield DNA here, by the way.
Yeah,
there's a Battlefield DNA.
The other thing I want to talk is what's happening with maybe PUBG and Delta Force while all these shooters are being released. I think that's going to be interesting to see what's happening.
Yeah, if they take any damage at all.
Is it a net growth for the shooter segment, or is it just cannibalization?
Seems because looking at Arc Raiders, it has a PUBG like feel to it.
Yeah.
Higher fidelity. Obviously, it's an extraction shooter, not a battle royale, but like it does have that vibe, and that matters.
It seems like what we're seeing right now is that they're not taking themselves too seriously, which is a good thing, I think, for them. Additionally, I would say I was very surprised. I mean, we just looked at it. I'll bring it up again. But I was very surprised to see like PUBG still number 3 on the Steam DB today, considering what you just said, that there are so many newcomers to that list.
Yeah, I mean, this is the game industry.
No, but I mean, as in, I was surprised that we didn't see like a bigger drop off where people at least like
Oh
give a
yeah.
week or two to try something out.
No, I mean that the dream is net growth, right? That's what
Yeah,
we want to see.
yeah.
So if we have the same number of PUBG players, and we have Arc Raiders players, that's a good sign.
Give me a
I,
second.
I think it's a bit down. PUBG is a bit down, but it started to be down at the end of September already. So even before the release of yeah, it looked like 1 year or 3 months. Yes.
Yeah, there's a dip here. We can see that clearly.
Yeah, and
Starting
then
Monday
back
last
up
week.
again. Yeah, but then back up again. So it depends on the event in the game. And then the other one, Delta Force, seems to be fine. It's a bit eroding in the last few days because of Battlefield.
Well, I don't even see it in the top 10. Oh no, sorry, there it is. Yeah, there is a bit of a dip here from September, or
Yeah, which started mid September, so a bit before
I think
Battle.
that was the when the beats of Battlefield were like, you know.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
only know when you could look at the top 10, you have PUBG, you have Battlefield, you have Counter Strike, you have Escape from Tarkov, you have Delta Force, you have Arc Raider, Apex Legends. These are all
Yeah.
shooters somehow, you know.
Yeah, so the top 10, half of that list is shooters now at this point.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and I think shooter has been very stable in recent years. I mean, we know it's the biggest type of game,
Mm.
but it might be even stronger now, which I think it's interesting if you consider that the shooter market can stretch furthermore, which was not a given recently.
No, super interesting. So I think at this point for me, because we were actually hyped about playing Battlefield, and like, me and my group, and then I thought Arc Raiders was next year. Didn't think about that, and then now that it's out, like okay, now I have to make a choice because we were
Yeah,
playing Warzone up until like 2 months ago, and then we're like, hey, we got to move on because we're not interested in the next Call of Duty. But now I feel like I need to make a choice because I only have limited time.
yeah, yeah.
Um,
I choose Power Wash Simulator too. That's my preference.
okay, fair enough. Fair enough. I have some talks and panels in 2 weeks in Korea for G Star, so I'm just trying to plow through some narrative
Good.
based games mostly.
Cool, cool.
Yeah. There's another game we can talk about. Is RV there yet?
Okay, let's do it
All
because
right.
I love it. Let's talk about that. I would love to. Tell
Just
me.
show this. This is climb or peak with mud rider or like with a vehicle.
Yes.
RV there yet?
So another.
Yeah, what a great little character. Look at him. Look, that's
Yes.
I
great.
mean, have you seen the trailer where the characters are like all smoking and stuff like that? I love
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
It's awesome.
But yeah, I mean, this is super fun. It's a unique take, but it's in that. uh, Manu, you have to tell me. I mean, I feel like this is a new genre. Maybe not new in that sense,
The
but it's
goofy co-op game or what?
come again.
The goofy co-op game.
Yeah,
So I feel like the progenitor to this is all this stuff is Sea of Thieves.
Sea of Thieves.
Sea of
Really?
Thieves. I feel more like game like human, not human fall flat, but Fall Guys, or the other one where you have
Yeah.
to race, the battle royale type of game where you need to run from one place to the other.
The thing about there's that's Fall Guys, and then there's Human Fall Flat.
Yeah,
But I think the thing about these games is they're not sandbox games. What we're looking at here are sandbox games, and the way you interact with them is totally different. That's why I like Sea of Thieves, because this is all about like trying to accomplish tasks with your friends while things get
yeah.
messed up, basically.
This one is the same. Huh? This one you have to go from A to B with your
Yeah.
RV. Yeah.
Yeah, and that's basically Sea of Thieves. And
Mhm.
Peak has a similar appeal as well, I think.
There
And
is.
like the fun is in the sandbox silliness, basically.
And the physics also. I think the physics plays a role there. So yeah, and again, this one has sold 1 million units. Out of nowhere. Just never heard of Duck Escape from Duck Off. Never heard of that one. there's been a multitude of games that have been impactful in recent months, and none
Yeah.
of them are AAA games.
So you last time you were talking about Absalom, which I was
Yeah,
trying. That game is definitely very cool.
yeah,
The art is really, really staggering. Just like
yeah.
got a real
And
graphic novel feel to it.
I should be gaming counselor or something. I
Yeah,
tell you what game you have to play
yeah,
based on
You
interaction.
should absolutely do that, Manu. I mean, Dave already does it as part of his monthly to a certain
Yeah,
degree. Yeah.
yeah,
I
sure.
explain what he plays.
Um,
Yes.
I do it at the International School Harlem. I was just talking to a friend of mine who's a jazz trombonist, and I was like, "You got to play Ape Out on the Switch." I felt very proud of that recommendation.
Mm, good. Yeah. So that's what's happening in terms of popular games right now. And we have end of October. We have 2 months left. I think the other thing I hear rumbling a lot is Resident Evil 9. I think
really?
this will be a monster. Yes.
Capcom's on a roll, man. I
Yeah.
mean, Monster
Well,
Hunter's got some issues these days, I think, but Capcom's on a roll.
except Monster Hunter is suffering a little bit. But yeah, and I think Resident Evil 9 is perfect storm. The franchise has never been in such a good state, and I think it's cool. It's too
Can you
bad.
tell
I
me?
think for Resident Evil, it's on the back of Resident Evil 4 remake, and what's a bit too bad for Resident Evil is there've already been so many bad movies and maybe also TV shows, and you feel like, oh, it's too bad that they couldn't come with something compelling
Hmm.
on the big screen or even on the TV screen.
But with Resident Evil, people love those movies.
They have their own,
Yeah, it is like a
yeah.
cult fan base, but like it has,
Yeah.
I think, been quite successful.
Not
Your
all of them
mindset.
have been successful. Maybe the first or second one, then after that they go very quickly in the
Oh, interesting.
video
Because
game.
I know that they are. Yeah,
They went
I
off
know
the
they have a
rail.
really committed lead.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah. But they had their own flavor and
yeah,
did their own thing.
yeah.
But here's a question then, because if we, okay, I have to ask you guys this. It feels like we were speaking about Mass Effect as an example, as a amazing franchise, and just completely missed opportunity of releasing a new game every 2 to 3 years and keeping that audience tight and close and 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 refreshed with a new game. And with Resident Evil, like Resident Evil did have like ups and downs, but obviously the past maybe 3 4 years, you'll have to correct me here, it's just been up, right? And they've been successful in understand and also pivoting. In like they did first person. They did actually first person a long time ago, but not as popular or successful as the latest ones.
Mm-hmm.
Um, what is the takeaway here? Why did EA abandon? I would say I would probably use that word in this case. Mass Effect. Okay, that is so beloved by so many people, and why was Capcom successful in keeping Resident Evil going?
So there's one Japanese publisher and there's one US publisher,
Yeah,
first of all. And I think they kind of killed a little bit Mass Effect with the ending of Mass Effect 3. Um, there was
well,
a bit of
and then Andromeda didn't do the thing it needed to do. To,
I think that the reality is that BioWare is a brand, but it's not the people anymore. So it's living through its legacy of past successes, but it's the people there right now. Maybe they don't have the talent, or they don't have the budget, or they don't have the means to really create the same kind of quality games as they did in the past, as other people did in the past, because there are barely anyone left, I think.
yeah, I mean, it would be hard enough for the same people to create the things that were like the things they did before. That's already difficult, let alone
Yeah.
different people.
And yeah, and sometimes people just need to move on. Recently I watched.
Can't you argue that's the same thing that happened to Capcom? Like so many, big figures at that company left to start their own studios. If it's
Mhm.
Tango, if it's other,
Yeah, it took
um,
years.
but they managed to keep Resident Evil going fairly
Yeah,
well.
I mean,
and
there was a soft reboot with like what 7, right?
Yeah, five was terrible in my opinion, and then
Yeah, that was.
there
So
was a
was it
co-op one.
5 was like the one in Africa with those issues. 6 was the weird co-op one. Then 7 was the soft reboot.
The reboot, yeah, that really brought a lot of people. It was modern era,
Yeah.
Resident Evil.
I will add that one of the successes as well was also the remakes, right? Like,
Yeah.
I recently played them, and those were like, they just brought me back. I was like, holy shit,
Yeah.
this is amazing.
Absolutely, yeah. And yeah, let's see. With Silent Hill is trying to do that. They had the remake of the 2, and they released Silent Hill F.
I heard F didn't go that well, but
but
I'm not
that's from a
sure.
quality standpoint. So that's maybe an audience sizing issue. But I think also Capcom does that. Okay, that's their core business. EA core business is sports title, and RPGs are like nice to have, but they are not making a year or missing a year. And let's not forget that BioWare was busy for so many years on trying to be the next live service game with Anthem.
Yeah. And
That's
then
another
and Dragon Age was a live service game at one point as well.
Yeah, Dragon Age was also kind of a successful RPG, new IP. They did 3 of them. There are many games that end with 3. Like 3 games. That's it. And then they come 20 years later and they do Mafia 4, or they do. I was watching Matrix Resurrection, the movie, recently. It's also like 20 years after the first trilogy, and sometimes you're like, well,
That
that's
one didn't.
I mean,
Yeah.
3 acts, man. 3 is a good number for storytelling, and
Yeah.
I think that human brains are kind of
It's a
organized.
trilogy. Yeah, it's a trilogy.
Yeah.
You don't talk about a quadrilogy, or you talk about maybe more and more, and then you are in the Star Wars territory.
Hey, Harry Potter had like 9 movies or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, gentlemen. I mean, this was a great discussion.
Mm-hmm.
I have to unfortunately go, and I'm
Okay.
sure you might have other things going on. Even though I was really enjoying the conversation. For those who have managed to come this far, please again subscribe, like, do bells and whistles, all these things, and then of course go to the guysweekly.substack.com. We're hitting record subscribers. And also, yes, I will point out somebody gave us $50.
Oh, right.
Thank you so much. Really, really appreciate. I don't know why you gave us that money, but like, hey, thank you so much. Really appreciate it. And I hope. And by the way, guys, I gotta tell you, I'm speaking to so many execs these days for various reasons, and they're all telling me like, hey, we love what you're doing. Again, Manu and Dave, like, really good stuff. Thank you so much for providing that value to people who don't have time. I think that is like, amazing work that we are doing.
That's what we're here. Save you time, save you money.
Yes.
Time is money.
And also, I mean, again, I should probably say this at the beginning of the show, but like, Dave is available to consult. Manu, maybe to a certain degree as well.
Mm-hmm.
So, you have issues with your game, you have issues with your studio, and we are here to help you resolve them.
Or you just want to pursue excellence,
There you go. Yes. Gentlemen, thank you so much for joining us today. Really appreciate this, and I'm hoping to see you next week.
Next week.
Bye.
Thank you.